Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Isabella Stevens, joined by Vanessa Collins. And today we have an incredibly powerful conversation, right, Vanessa?
We do. We are joined by Joe Clementi and Bob Gower from TraverConnect. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what TraverConnect does for our industry.
Well, TraverConnect, if you take a look at business development, every industry has the need to develop their business. So Traver started in 1991 building BDCs, which was a mechanism and an infrastructure to get people, processes, and enable technology to be able to communicate to those customers on a regular basis. So that was the foundation of BDC. I think what's really important is sometimes we forget, we think BDC is a structure, it's a room, but really it's a process, it's the methodology. So if you take a look at it, what I love about TED in this show is the ability to communicate with people. But when you communicate with people, what you're really trying to do is connect.
Yeah.
And those connections are invaluable. So it's not about the dialogue, but it's an intention to connect for a mutual outcome for each other. And if you do that well, you'll have those connections for a long time. And to me, that's called loyalty. Not retention, but it's loyalty. So I love this show because one of the things that you guys do a great job of is you change it up. Because, today, it used to be almost 2 years before we saw change. Now it's every 6 months. So the challenge just isn't the communication. It's the ability to know when to change it so you're still have impact. So to me, that's what we do.
That is incredible. And that does a lot for our industry. It's the people business. It's all about making those connections and being intentional with it, like you said. And so you're right. I mean, with the technology kind of evolving the industry every 6 months, it's important to stay at the forefront and adapt, utilize the technology to, help better your processes, but also don't get rid of that human interaction that's so important.
Correct. And
I think that's a vital element, right? Is the human engagement. It's how people interact with technology and how that technology interacts with the customer. That's the pivot point. Like, how do we use technology and how do we teach people to work with technology so that there's this congruence? It's an operational strategy, right? It's not just a center or a department. It's part of an operational strategy.
Yeah, of course. I know AI is a huge hot topic in the automotive industry today, but there will always be that need for that human connection, that human help to really connect with the consumers.
Right.
Make things happen. Now, Joe, I heard that you guys have kind of a forward-thinking view on connection and learning. Can you kind of touch base on that a little bit?
Yeah, thank you. We have a product that we call Experience Moves, and it's all about learning and development. It's about engaging 5 generations in a strategy that helps them align with the culture, with the business model. It helps those individuals become more adept to the changing climates that happens every day in the auto industry. And more importantly, I think there's a lot of alignment in this process between where a person is today and where we want them to be in the future. Ed Roberts talked about that yesterday, right? He said that the world is changing much faster with the invention, I guess, or the implementation of AI.
Yeah.
More importantly, how do we teach people through the process of learning and development, not training, right? Training is temporary. Learning and development is ongoing.
Yes. And would you say that's kind of the main difference between training and learning and development?
Yeah, yes, because learning and development is a progression. So with training, you attend a session one time, right? And you hear someone speak and you walk away and after 30 days, we have 70% of that information is gone. It's absent. It leaves our brain. And so with development it's not just an immersion into something, it's repetitive focus. It's coaching. And we have 2 really important approaches. One is coaching, that's live, direct with individuals. And then there's a learning management system that follows up with that strategy. So there's affirmation, there's repetitiveness in this process.
And who's given these services? The technician managers, the
So we focus primarily on business development teams. So that's a business manager, business development manager. It might be a business development representatives. For some of our teams, it is around one of the things we do unique is around the parts department.
Oh, nice.
How many times do a dealer or a general manager visit the parts department and listen to how phone calls go?
Yeah.
So we teach the right behaviors, keywords and phrases, how to be helpful, friendly, and kind. So that's another element that we focus on as well.
And that's incredible too, because when you have these team members learning instead of just training, they're just constantly evolving, constantly elevating your dealership.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
For sure. And it probably helps with retention too within the dealership.
It does. And I think, it started decades ago. We started doing leadership training. We always started at the top. So it would have
Top down.
stickiness and the culture would shift, right? Instead of from the bottom. So I think it's still important today that we don't forget. That's really an important key. And for those of you who are starting your careers, I got to tell you the reason I went to work for Traver was one reason. It was I knew your ability to communicate was the only lid that you actually do have. So you want to raise that lid.
Yep.
So John's such a great communicator. You've met him. He's been on the show. So, that's the reason was I wanted to learn. If you ask the right question to the right person, you change your approach often enough, you'll get what you want. So to me, that's the lid in careers. It's not everything else. It's the ability to ask.
Yeah, they always say the best leaders ask most questions.
Ask the most questions.
Correct.
Absolutely.
For sure. Now, it's still the beginning of this new year, 2026. A lot ahead. What is TraverConnect doing to kind of stay ahead of the curve when it comes to communication and all this technology coming out? I mean, AI is constantly getting better every single day. So what are y'all doing to kind of stay ahead?
I'll give you one thing. I think Joe can give you a second. I think the one thing is, today when you reach out to, let's use a fixed ops customer, when you reach out to me and say, hey, Bob, we noticed that your car's due for service, like to get you and give you a free oil change. I'm like, that's a form of communication. Yeah. Mm-hmm. To me, it's a pitch. To me, it's not a dialogue. A dialogue is, I also know that through telematics, you have 10% oil life, that you have a recall, that you also have a private offer from your manufacturer. You also have $500 in reward money to spend. And when you add all that up together, now it's a conversation. That's a dialogue with an intent, and your customers will stay connected with you much longer when you have those kind of conversations.
Amazing.
That's
Joe?
incredible.
I think the element of AI that's so critical is how do we teach 5 generations in the workforce how to intuitively use the product to better serve the customer?
Yeah.
Isn't that the goal?
Yeah.
So one of the elements that we focus on is how to use that technology for the experience, right? We always talk about it's either transformational or it's transactional. You want to create a transformational experience, it starts with your people.
That's amazing. Well, you two have brought a wealth of knowledge to this panel and this segment. So thank you so much, Joe and Bob from TraverConnect, for joining us and giving us some insight onto what your company is currently doing.
Thank you.
Thank
you for having us. Thanks.
If people are interested in getting their team signed up with TraverConnect, where can they learn more?
They can go right onto our website at TraverConnect.com. There's a lot of information on learning and development and a lot about what we do. We can either do it for you, with you, or we can help you. We can do a mix.
Awesome. Again, that's TraverConnect.com. And for those online, stay tuned because there is a lot more to come.